Hello everybody, and welcome to my Media Museum. Today we're going to do some Bob Dylan 45 RPM records. I pulled these out while going through my remaining mixed boxes of 45s. Actually, most of these, predominantly the biggest bulk of these, were all in one box. And this, like Rolling Stone, is the oldest one I've got, but you'll see here it's a Hall of Fame one even. So this is a reissue version. And the B-side of it had Rainy Day Women, number 12 and 35. You know the song, Everybody Must Get Stoned. Don't know it by the title, but you definitely know it when you hear it. And the next one up, which is rather interesting, is the original version of Rainy Day Women, number 12 and 35, because the original Like a Rolling Stone did not have Rainy Day Women on the B-side of it, and this one here does not have Like a Rolling Stone on its B-side either. It has Pledging My Time. So this is the original as it originally came out, the first one that I showed you there being a Hall of Fame reissue. So now we take a pretty big jump because most of the ones I have here are later years. This was a non-album single that Bob Dylan put out, George Jackson, big band version. And you'll notice on the B-side of it, it is the same song in an acoustic version. And like I said, this was not on one of his albums, at least not at that time. If you get on Wikipedia and look at his 45 singles releases, this is noted as a non-album single, which is common. A lot of bands did a lot of non-album singles, and I like getting those. Those are really cool to acquire. Now, the rest of these are all pretty much in near the same time frame. Probably somebody was really into Dylan there in 79, early 80s. But Gotta Serve Somebody, which isn't a song of his that I recognize. But that is the A-side, because the B-side here, Trouble in Mind, again, was a non-album track. So it's kind of cool. I always like to get non-album singles or anything that's specific to a 45, be it a mono version or a 45 edit, single edit, however they want to call it, refer to it. But this Trouble in Mind was noted as a non-album single. And then on the very next single that he put out, which I like this sleeve. This is not a sleeve that I recall having seen before. So that's kind of cool. I want to take a second and show you that. Like kind of Pac-Man there. And this is after Pac-Man had been out. But here we've got a 45 RPM. It's noted as a 45 RPM, but you'll notice it's got the solid insert. You can't remove. So it's 33. It's ready to go. Wouldn't work on a stacker, because unless it was an album stacker, and that probably wouldn't be a good idea because it would probably miss the 45 and damage your needle a little bit. But yeah, this Precious Angel, and getting to the point here, what's interesting is he used the same non-album Trouble in Mind song on the B side of it. And we don't see a timing on this one. I think it's right there where the hole's damaged, but it's 4 something. It was noted as 417 on the previous single that he used it on. So I would bet real strongly that it's the exact same recording. Uses a B-side on 2 singles in a row. But it's still kind of cool because, as I said already, it wasn't on one of his albums. So next up, we've got Heart of Mine. Which is kind of interesting because the very next one I have is a picture sleeve that I could find no reference of online. So we've got Heart of Mine here from the Shot of Love album, with the B-side being The Groom Still Waiting at the Altar. And then right after that, the very next one is Bob Dylan, Mi Corazon, which is My Heart, or Heart of Mine. And it's a really cool picture sleeve there. I like the artwork. Pretty nifty. And that's another surprising thing to me, is the picture sleeve videos I've done have not generated a whole lot of interest either. Or I should say less interest than the 45s. And I would have expected the exact opposite of that. I'd have thought you got to see more artwork, you get to see a little more information, you get to see pictures of the band and stuff. But going back and looking at the picture sleeve videos that I've made, they generate less interest than the 45 ones without them. So go figure. And here you go. Here it is. Mi Corazon. Maybe this is not in English. Maybe this is, sung in, is it Italian, I think? Possibly. But the B side of it is different. It's not The Groom Still Waiting at the Altar. It's Let It Be Me. And like I said, I found no reference to this 45 having been released on Wikipedia. I guess I probably should have checked Discogs, but I didn't. Discogs really let me down looking up the Stones. They don't have a whole lot of the Stones on there for 45 RPMs. And I was trying to find out what the difference is between the blue and yellow labels and whether one's older than the other. But I didn't come up with anything. So if anybody knows, well, we'll talk more about that when we get to the Rolling Stones ones, which I will be filming next and posting up after these. So here's a picture sleeve again. And I've got 2 copies of this one, identical. It does have a number up there in the corner. I guess I should show that. But the A side being Union Sundown and B side being Angels Flying Too Close to the Ground. And it's interesting as well because you'll notice the label is considerably different. And it's got a hard insert too, so not removable. It is a 45 RPM, but it's got the 33 hub there. And on the B side of that, as the sleeve said, Angels Flying Too Close to the Ground. So interesting. And here, as I said, see, there's my second copy of it that I have. And it's in plastic, so that's why I didn't really bother pulling that one out. But it's the exact same. It's just a little bit cleaner, a little better shape. Now here we go. We've got a non-picture sleeve copy of Union Sundown. And the B side on it was different. It's Sweetheart Like You. So if you got the picture sleeve, you got a different B side. If you got the regular edition, you got Sweetheart Like You on the B side. And what's interesting here is I have 4 copies in a row of this one in that box. They all have Sweetheart Like You on the B side. They all are identical to the one that I did show you here. So kind of interesting to come across that many copies in the same box altogether. Don't know what the explanation for that is or why someone would have bought so many copies or acquired so many copies, but you could see you got 2 or 3. You bought it, a friend bought it for you, maybe you got one for your birthday, but 4? Yeah, that's a lot of copies for the same individual to have. But never know the story behind that because I don't know who owned them originally. Here we've got Joker Man, and the B side of it is Isis live from the film Ronaldo and Clara, which I'm not familiar with that film, and I'm not familiar with that song. But again, the guy had 2 copies of it, and they both came from Wax Trax. They both $1.69 price tag from Wax Trax. So I don't know. I bought plenty of duplicate copies myself, so can't criticize anyone for doing that. But and 2 is much more understandable than 4. All right, and the last one we got here, which I've got 2 identical copies of it as well, is Bob Dylan and the Heartbreakers. That's Tom Petty's Heartbreakers, Band of the Hand. And you will see, this is probably from when they were associated with the Traveling Wilburys. They got, to knowing each other real well and had some interaction on each other's work. But this is produced, I don't see it, oh there it is, right there. It says produced by Tom Petty. It says it on the label. I hadn't noticed it so much on the back of the picture sleeve yet. But Tom Petty produced it, and his backing band played on it, and Bob Dylan was the main vocalist. So there you go, Bob Dylan with the Heartbreakers, produced by Tom Petty, Band of the Hand, side A, and Michael Rubini, the theme from Joe's Death, being on the B side of that, which is kind of interesting. You'd think that they would have had another song by him, but seeing that this is from the movie soundtrack, And the second copy, let's see here, it's the exact same. It's got the same B-side. So movie soundtracks do often have two different artists because they're taking songs from the movie soundtrack, and sometimes the artist does two songs on the soundtrack and they'll put them on the same 45, but a lot of times you end up with something like this right here. We've got one soundtrack song by somebody on A side and another soundtrack song by someone else on the B. So there's the Bob Dylans that I had to share with you. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm not a huge Bob Dylan fan, but I liked him. He's got some really good tunes. And so this is what I have to show you on the 45s. Have a great day and come on back for some Rolling Stones in the next episode.